Welcome to the Philippines, a country of unmatched beauty and a culture that captivates all who visit. Despite all this beauty, the country hides a sad reality that affects thousands of its inhabitants, particularly women. For them, life in this country is filled with hardships and daily suffering in the struggle for survival. Stay with us until the end of the video and uncover the dark side of the Philippines that people don't tell you about. Looking at the vast archipelago that forms the Philippines, it's easy to get lost in the expanse of its over 7,000 islands. This country, situated in the heart of Southeast Asia, hides in every piece of land a cultural and natural richness that few have the chance to fully explore. With a population exceeding 111 million, the Philippines is a true mosaic of intertwined lives in a vibrant and diverse setting. To understand the essence of this place, one need only observe its people so diverse and thriving in their traditions. What many don't know, however, is that the natural beauty of the Philippines comes with a certain instability, as the country is located in one of the most seismically active regions of the world. Yes, the same blue and serene waters that invite relaxation are also the stage for powerful earthquakes and tsunamis. Living in a land that breathes movement, Filipinos have learned to turn adversity into resilience, cultivating a deep connection with the land and sea elements as prosperous as they are dangerous. Walking through the streets of the Philippines' capital Manila, you will be immediately enveloped by the vibrant ethnic diversity that characterizes this country. The Philippines is home to an impressive array of ethnic groups, each with its traditions, customs, and languages, creating a truly unique cultural richness. From the very first steps, you will likely notice the prominent presence of Filipinos of Malayo-Polynesian descent, who make up the majority ethnic group in the country, around 96% of the population. These Filipinos carry with them an ancestral heritage that dates back to the migrations from Southeast Asia. But the diversity doesn't stop there. Spread across the islands, you will also find communities of Filipinos of Chinese origin who settled in the archipelago centuries ago and have left an indelible mark on the country's cuisine, trade, and architecture. Their angular faces and expressive eyes serve as a constant reminder of the multicultural richness of the Philippines. And don't be surprised to encounter indigenous ethnic groups such as the Igorots in the mountains of Luzon or the nomads in the southern islands. These native peoples, with their ancient traditions and colorful attire, contribute to the impressive cultural diversity that makes the Philippines such a fascinating destination here. Although Filipino and English are the official languages, the nation is home to an impressive variety of languages and dialects that reflect its history and multicultural composition. Filipino, also known as Tagalog, is considered the national language and is spoken by a large part of the population, especially in the central regions of the archipelago, with roots in Austronesian languages. Filipino is a rich and expressive language that carries a wealth of nuances and regional accents. However, the linguistic richness of the Philippines extends beyond Filipino. The country hosts over 170 different languages, each with its history, grammatical structure, and unique characteristics, from indigenous dialects like Ilocano, Cebuano, and Bicolano, to Chinese origin languages such as Hokkien and Cantonese. This diversity reflects how this society has been shaped over the decades. Regarding the economy, it can be said that the Philippines has a diverse economy with a range of key sectors driving its development. One of the main engines is the service industry, which accounts for about 60% of the country's gross domestic product. Within this segment, information technology, business, process outsourcing, and tourism are prominent areas. Another important pillar of the Philippine economy is manufacturing, particularly in the production of electronic equipment, clothing, chemicals, and processed foods. This industrial sector has played a crucial role in job creation and promoting economic growth. Additionally, agriculture remains a relevant sector, contributing about 10% of the GDP. Crops such as rice, corn, coconut, tropical fruits, and vegetables are important sources of income and sustenance for many Filipino families. However, the country's economy faces some significant challenges. Poor infrastructure, especially in areas such as transportation and energy, has
been a barrier to economic development. Moreover, income inequality and persistent poverty in certain regions represent a considerable burden on socio-economic progress. It is precisely this issue of poverty that deserves special attention when exploring the Philippines. Despite economic advances, a significant portion of the population still struggles daily to meet their basic needs, facing difficulties in areas such as healthcare, education, and nutrition. In the narrow alleys and dirt streets of Manila's poor neighborhoods, life unfolds amidst chaos and the constant struggle for survival there, where houses are made from improvised materials and streets are crowded with vendors. Prosperity is a distant, almost unreachable concept. Yet even in this challenging scenario, there is a richness that few see: the strength of community. People support each other, sharing the little they have, and find joy in small achievements such as a warm meal or selling fresh fruit at the local market. These moments, no matter how small, bring a glimmer of hope amidst the harshness of daily life. The economy of these neighborhoods moves at its own pace, driven by small transactions and the resourcefulness of the residents. From street food vendors to artisans working with recycled materials, everyone finds a way to contribute to the local economy, even if modestly. For many, wealth is not in material possessions, but in the ability to support their family, see their children grow and keep a roof over their heads. Amidst poverty, there is a sense of dignity that cannot be erased, a spirit of resilience that keeps the community united and strong in the face of adversity. The lack of basic sanitation, piles of garbage in the streets, and the absence of public services are a constant reality. Still, the residents of these neighborhoods find ways to move forward, adapting to their circumstances with creativity and determination. Due to the precarious situation many Filipinos face on bustling streets, we can encounter a harsh reality that few dare to confront: pag. Pag, for many, the idea of turning food scraps into meals might seem unthinkable, but for thousands of Filipinos, it is a daily practice that defines the thin line between hunger and survival. These foods discarded by restaurants and eateries are carefully collected, reprocessed, and transformed into dishes that sustain entire families. Pag, as shocking as it may seem, is a reflection of the resilience of the Filipino people who find value even where the world sees only trash. This practice is more common in densely populated urban areas where prosperity is out of reach. For many on the corners of impoverished neighborhoods, one can see lines forming waiting for the garbage bags that may contain the only meal of the day. For some families, pag reveals the harsh reality for many Filipinos, where the luxury of a fresh and hot meal is replaced by the necessity of making the most of every available food item. Yet even in the face of this reality, there is a lesson in survival and creativity, where even the smallest piece of meat or rice can represent a thriving feast for those who have nothing. In a country where social inequality is glaring, many are forced to resort to illicit activities as a way to secure the minimum necessary for survival. Crime in this context is not just a choice, but often the only visible alternative for those who have been left on the margins of a society that promises prosperity but delivers little to those who need it most. In this vicious cycle, the wealth of a few starkly contrasts with the misery of many gangs taking advantage of the vulnerability of the poorest populations. Find in marginalized communities a fertile ground for recruiting new members. Young people who should be in school end up being lured into crime, attracted by the promise of quick gains and the illusion of power. The lack of control over population growth and the absence of effective social inclusion policies create an environment where crime flourishes and safety becomes a constant concern. Many of these gangs use their power to recruit women, forcing them into working in the night industry. While many visitors enjoy lively nights during their vacations in the Philippines, thousands of women are suffering due to their poverty-stricken conditions. This is a devastating situation that reveals the hardships faced by a significant portion of the female population in the country. Many of these women, some still very young, are forced to seek this type of work to support themselves and their families, creating a vicious cycle of exploitation and vulnerability. The working conditions in this underworld are often precarious and unhealthy, exposing these women to various risks they face, not only social stigma but also a lack of access to adequate healthcare and psychological support.
Unfortunately, this reality is exacerbated by the lack of educational and employment opportunities for women in many regions of the Philippines. Without viable alternatives, they are compelled to turn to this industry as their only means of survival, perpetuating a cycle of exploitation that seems endless. Amidst all these challenges the country faces, some families in the Philippines have found a completely unlikely home: cemeteries. You heard that right. Many people in the Philippines live among the grave cemeteries, which typically symbolize the end of life, have become for many the only housing option among the tombstones and mausoleums. These people build their lives improvising shelters where only the dead should be. They did not choose this life for pleasure, but out of necessity, creating an existence where prosperity simply means having a roof over their heads. Adapting to this reality is a testament to human resilience. Many of these families rely on cleaning graves, or small businesses set up among the tombstones to secure some livelihood. You can see makeshift stalls selling everything from candles to food, all to survive another day. This unusual coexistence between the living and the dead reveals another side of life in the Philippines, where prosperity is measured not by comfort, but by the ability to survive under adverse conditions. Daily life in the cemeteries is a constant exercise in adaptation and endurance, where even children learn early to live with this reality. As surreal as it may seem, living among the dead has become a solution to the lack of affordable housing. The families who inhabit these places have no choice but to turn what would be a place of eternal rest into a living environment, however precarious it may be. If you were impressed to learn that people live in cemeteries, and wait until you meet the Bucha people. The Bucha, known as the Sea Gypsies, are a living example of how adaptation can thrive even under the most challenging conditions. Living in makeshift huts over the water, they have developed a unique connection with the ocean, reflected in their extraordinary diving skills. Imagine a world where the sea is both home and source of sustenance, where prosperity comes not from solid ground, but from the salty depths. This intimate connection with the ocean is what keeps the Bajo community thriving despite the adversities they face. For generations, the Bucha have distanced themselves from the mainland, preferring the free and prosperous life at sea. Their skills are so impressive that many can remain submerged for long periods, hunting with precision and using tools they make themselves. It's not just about survival, but about living a life in harmony with the waters, finding wealth where many would see only challenges. Even surrounded by plastic waste and with minimal infrastructure, the Bucha maintain their lives apart from the rest of the world, a deliberate choice to preserve their thriving culture and way of life. However, this autonomy comes at a cost. As you navigate these waters, you will quickly notice the signs of an ongoing struggle against pollution and poverty. The huts that appear to float delicately on the sea often conceal the harsh reality of living without the basic resources many consider essential. So hopefully you did enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment down below. Also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for more videos like this one. We will see you in the next video. Thank you.